Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the BigSin podcast. I am your host Sinji, my co-host, my boys, my niggas, Big Tone Son,
Yeah, what's up?
and Herb Bay.
What up?
Damn, Tone, so enthusiastic.
Whatever, nigga.
Damn.
Damn. I already told Tone what grinds my gears moment would be this week, and let me just say, Irby, humans are creatures of habit. This
Yep.
is not a statement. This is a proven fact. This is why we have routines and shit. And
Yep.
I have a habit of not trying new things food wise. But I got Chinese the other day and I decided I wanted to try something new. So what I do,
Hmm.
I bought beef stir fry from the Chinese place. Now, here's what grinded my gears about that. Ain't nothing about that beef stir fry fried. That shit tasted chewy, steamed, disgusting. The vegetables were not even chopped up. It was just not good. Threw the whole meal away. Went to McDonald's.
You do realize stir fry doesn't necessarily mean that the food is fried, right?
But like it stir fry usually doesn't that mean like it goes into like a saucer pan or something and gets mixed up?
And
Yeah,
also the fact that
but
if it's hot and they put it in the styrofoam, it will sweat. So that could have been why it was soggy and stuff.
Well, the beef itself tasted like it was microwave. It tasted rubbery, chewy, and it was just soaked in like beef juice. There was like a whole thing of beef juice underneath, which is in hindsight it's probably for the rice, but I don't think this shit's supposed to be like swimming in juice.
Ain't nothing wrong swimming in juice. Shoot.
I mean, you don't make fried chicken and then like put it in container and the container is half filled with barbecue sauce. You know what I mean? You put barbecue sauce on the fried chicken, but you don't let it sit in barbecue sauce.
I mean you can.
Shoot.
I don't think people do though. I mean,
Shoot. Motherfuckers might do that. They
I
weird out
might.
here.
Hey, might. I don't know. I don't know. That grinded my gears. On to the next.
uh,
Instead of criticizing what got me mad.
huh. What grinds my gears? Hate when people volunteer you for something and you don't even wanna they didn't even ask you. They're just like, oh, he'll do it. And you're like, what? When did I say this? You know, grinds my gears.
So when did I say I was gonna do that?
Yeah. Mm-mm. But
Tom, what about
it
you?
is what it is.
I can't think of nothing.
Damn.
Dang. My kid over
Nothing
there
pissed you off
struggling.
in last week, dog. Nothing at all. Being the angry black man that you are, nothing pissed you off.
Shit.
No,
You know what? That's a good thing.
just because y'all think I'm angry don't mean that I'm actually angry.
Well, nigga, you always portraying
It,
yourself as angry.
no, you niggas stop doing dumb shit, I wouldn't get mad. Plain and
Shoot.
simple.
Hey, man, I don't say or do dumb shit.
Mmm.
I do entertaining shit.
I don't know about that pie mouth.
Hey, man, you can put that out there. I'll explain it.
Man, look, hold on. Actually, I don't know if I would say this pissed me off, but I wouldn't necessarily say it made me mad, but it kind of made me chuckle a little bit. This whole This whole cyberpunk debacle has just been fun to watch.
Oh, so this is more of what oiled my gears.
Actually, you know what? Actually, you know what? This is a grind my gears because this is something that I've been complaining about for years, and cyberpunk is definitely one of those cases where you know where the execs at these gaming companies just force the developers just to cut things from the game, not let them flesh things out, and they just put out this awful dreck. Like I think it's annoying that when I buy a game that I have to download a patch that goes with it. Are you telling me that you couldn't delay that game just a month so that way when I get it, that patch is already on there? It's just stupidest shit in the world. It really is. I hate day one patches. I've never liked day one patches. And when they first started doing it, I could tell from the beginning where it's headed. So now we're just basically we're paying $60 for these betas, and they're basically over the months and years just using us as an experimental way to tinker with their game. And to me, that really pisses me off. I'm not paying $60 for a goddamn incomplete game. Give me what I'm paying for.
I mean, but wouldn't
And
you rather them do the patch rather than giving us a broken game and leaving it that way?
I would rather them I would rather them wait until the goddamn game's perfect to put it out. That's what I want.
I get
I
that.
don't think that's that difficult.
No, I get that.
I think, like I said, it's these execs at these video game companies that just want to make a quick buck, and at the end of the day, we're the ones that suffer because we're the ones that are shelling out this money. Where a lot of these companies aren't like Sony was. Sony was not trying to give out refunds for the Cyberpunk. They
Hell
just
no.
they weren't with it. They want their money, and it got to the point where they had to pull the damn game. They pulled the game off their store. It, first of all, if anyone buys a game and it doesn't work the way it's supposed to, they should automatically get a refund. It shouldn't be some shit where you gotta jump through hoops to get your money back. I was told that this game was. I'm on a. It's presumed that this game is supposed to work. So if this piece of shit don't work, then yeah, I absolutely should get my money back. I shouldn't have to hold on to this game for 6 months in the state that it's in just to wait for them to fix it. No, that's the most retarded shit in the world. And also, let this be a lesson to anyone that freaking pre-ordered um, Cyberpunk and shit like that. Stop pre-order games. Just stop pre-ordering. When you pre-order games, that money just gets put back into the development of the game that they're working on. That's why fucking pre-orders are pushed so goddamn much. That's why they give you the stupidest incentives when it comes to pre-ordering games. Just stop pre-ordering them. I mean, no one's gonna fucking listen because I swear humans are fucking retards, but you know it is what it is.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, but like, don't you want that though?
Well, what?
Don't you want them to use the money you're paying for instead of them pocketing it, using it to make the game that you're already interested in that much better?
Well, they clearly aren't. If every game I get needs a day one patch, they clearly aren't. You look at games like EA, I mean, games like Madden, FIFA, 2K, who makes billions and billions of dollars a year, hand over fucking fist, and their servers still suck, their games are still broken. Like, there's no reason why Madden should be in the state that it's in right now, where
Dude.
it's just awful. And
Right.
like now, I think EA is updating Madden once to maybe twice a week. Madden 21 right now, and the game is still a hot mess because they just won't fix stuff. They just make it good enough or just playable to satisfy the masses because they already know that people, people are still going to buy it. People are still going to spend money on microtransactions. They don't fucking care. You want to make a change? You got to do it with your wallet. That's how you make change. Like with the whole hashtag fix Madden this past year, I really thought that we were going to see some big changes. I really thought that, you know, EA was going to do their due diligence to try to put out somewhat of a decent game, and they didn't.
Mm-mm.
Instead, they're adding shit into the game that should have been in the game for years. I
Right.
mean, come on, they delayed next gen Madden by almost a month, and the game still stinks. Come on, man. I'm sorry, but and I was having this conversation with a buddy a couple like a week ago. I'm just starting to become disillusioned with these fucking video games. To be honest with you, I've even thought about like, yo, fuck this. I don't know if I want to keep wasting my money on this shit because at the end of the day, it's not worth it.
Right.
Because a lot of people invest a lot of money into these fucking games. They spend thousands of dollars on PC rigs or thousands of dollars on TVs to have the optimal gaming experience. They spend hundreds of dollars on these consoles. It's like, come on, man. Like, at least you can do as far as a consumer wise is treat us with a little respect and a little dignity and give us all the shit that you said you were that you were going to give us. Don't half-ass shit. If the game's not, if the game is a little too ambitious for you, okay, admit that. Just admit it. Okay, this is a little too ambitious. We got a little bit over our heads. It's going to be a couple of years before we actually have the technology to complete this, or we just really need to work with this a lot longer to, to get this shit to work. If you admit that to me, I will respect you through and through. I can respect that. Like if
Well,
Rockstar came out and said, "Hey, listen, you ain't getting GTA 6 in 2026 because we just can't get it right now, and we're going to sit here and we're going to do our due diligence to work through whatever needs to get fixed, but it will be out 2026." You know what? I can wait 6 years. No big deal. Because I guarantee you, there's going to be about 200 to 300 games that come out in fucking 6 years, and I'm going to wind up playing. That's going to keep me busy until that shit come out, and I'm fine with that.
I feel like we get one patches because they give people the games early and they have people test out the game first or they see what's wrong with the game because um like the developers when they're testing out games, they're testing them under optimal situations for them. You know what I mean? Not everyone's gonna have a developer setup to run a game perfect, and I feel like that's why they give out games early to some people. You know what I mean? And that's why
Well,
when the extra
well,
releases, there's a patch because the people they released it
CD,
early to has tested it already.
CD Projekt Red already came out and said they didn't give the attention to the PS4 and the Xbox One like they should have. Like, nigga, what? Weren't you originally developing the game for the damn consoles? And you talk about you didn't give it the love that you were supposed to? Are you
Mm.
serious?
Yeah,
And
that's
then they came
bullshit.
out and said that they deliberately held back gameplay because they didn't want people to see how buggy this goddamn game is. So basically what you're telling me is that that you lied to me. You know what I mean? You lied to me. You lied to everyone else. You lied to Sony. You lied to Microsoft. Like they first of all the game these gaming Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo blah blah blah. They have to certify these games first. So even if the game is buggy, all they have to say is, "Oh, we have a patch that's coming out that'll fix all this."
Right.
So then they'll go ahead and they'll certify these games to be released. So you basically just lied to them. Like I can't be mad at Sony and Microsoft because they're not the ones forcing these games to be released. You know what I mean? If someone says, "Oh, well, we're just going to search, we have a day one patch to fix this," okay, they're automatically going to assume, okay, well, it's going to work on these consoles like you said they would. So when they don't, it's like, come on, man. Like what they did was dirty. Like honestly, they should be reported to the Better Business Bureau.
But you can't assume all companies do that though.
No, not all of them do it, but someone that's supposed that a game company that was held in high regard as CD Project Red, it's like, come on, man. Like they after The Witcher 3, they were put on such a high pedestal, and
Mm-hmm.
you can't tell me they didn't know that. They had to have known that, and they basically just tarnished their reputation to the point where I'm listening to people say we can never trust them again. You can that's and that's sad, bro. It is. It's sad. And you can't blame the developers. You have to blame the suits because the suits are the ones that are doing this shit. The suits are the ones who who are telling these people, "Hey, listen, you know what? Fuck this. You putting this shit out, whether it's finished or not."
Yeah, it's a fickle world of business.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Listen. I understand we're in the business of making money, uh, but me as a consumer, I'm also in the business of not wasting my fucking money either. I work hard for my money. So don't sit here and promise me something and then you don't deliver. If you can't do it, just say you can't do it. Okay, I can understand that.
Right.
That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Mm.
Yeah. I hear you, big dog. Yeah, the developers, computers are also tricky though, cause like we had the same setup or the same something, and then you get a different error message, and I get a different error message, cause just because it would do it sometimes, and there's like no rhyme or reason. Cause that happened when I was at school. Like we would be program some shit, and then it'd be like, oh, error message. And you'd be like, why is there error message? It's the exact same code for everybody, but it's something with the system settings or something somewhere. Or it might just decide to act up that day.
I think maybe they should have just
Should
CD
have
Project
waited.
Red said either that or just like you know what, fuck current gen. Let's focus solely on next gen so that we can get this right.
That's
I don't think that's what I mean. You wait a year, focus on next gen, give everyone a chance to try to save up their little bit of money so they can try to get the new consoles. Within a year, all these consoles will be available. We don't have to worry about these goddamn bots snatching up all the consoles that are available online and shit from these stores. I don't think that's I don't think that's asking for much. Telling you can't wait a year to make some money. Just on pre-orders alone, they made back all the money for the production costs and everything like that. And now they're about to lose it because you decided that you want to be greedy, and and now all this is happening. So I personally don't. I mean, I feel bad for the developers. I don't feel bad for the suits. I wouldn't be surprised if some people are going to get fired because of this.
fire 'em all. Heads will roll. Might as well
Now,
just
what
name
game were you
myself.
talking about? Were you talking about uh what game did they put out that was really
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
didn't cuz who? They made Cyberpunk. I thought they made Ghost of Tsushima. Who made Ghost of Tsushima?
Nah, that's Insomniac. Is it Insomniac or Sucker Punch? It's one of those. I don't remember.
Sucker Punch.
Now, when it comes to buggy, like it wasn't it only on regular consoles?
Yeah, but I mean, like like it was basically unplayable on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Yeah.
I mean, for PlayStation 5, I haven't really had any issues with it. I mean, you see some bugs here and there, but for the most part, it does run pretty good. But let's say, for instance, I never got a PlayStation 5, I wouldn't be able to play the damn game.
No, you have a pro. You would be able to play it.
Maybe. But
Yeah, you have a
even
pro.
even like these goddamn PCs that people spend a fuck ton of money on building, I think they're having a hard time running that game.
Well, because the all right, so Cyberpunk, the hype for Cyberpunk was the fact that it was a game that you already knew would push your console to do its very best. If you didn't have a PlayStation Pro or an Xbox Series, Xbox One X, whatever the hell that step up from an Xbox One is, then you didn't have the necessary power to even come close to running that game. People should have known that. Like
Yeah,
Cyberpunk
but
was going
see
to be
you
a
can't.
very powerful game.
Yeah, but see you can't use that excuse because GTA 5 when they re-released it for the PS4 and the Xbox One, that game pushed those consoles to the limit. I'm talking about as far as memory wise on that disc, it was jam packed, and that game still ran perfectly fine on a
But
base
you're
model PS4 and a base Xbox One. So you can't use that as an excuse.
no, but you're comparing a game that was re-released for new consoles versus a game that was released between previous gen and a next gen. It's not like they
That
made
game,
the game for the PS4 and then made it better for the PS5. I'm sure these developers made that game in thoughts of, hey, PS5 is coming out, let's up the graphics and let's make this game strong. You know what I mean?
bro, they announced that game before the PlayStation 4 ever came out. A whole year and a half before PlayStation 4 ever came out, they announced that game.
Cyberpunk?
20, 2012 is when they announced that game.
But you think after like 8 years in the making, they didn't like you see the graphics of that game. There's no way they were trying to pull off that graphics in the PS4. I'm sure once it got pushed back enough, they were like, all right, maybe next gen. Let's make this a next gen type game.
Yeah, they probably decided to switch halfway through, but dev kits for the PlayStation 5 probably didn't go out till 2017, 2018.
Yeah, and that's
Maybe
that's
even
that's what I'm
maybe
saying. So like that was my
so,
whole reason for like not agreeing. Like Cyberpunk is literally the reason I was against Xbox fully supporting the Xbox One for 2 years with every game that came out because you're probably gonna have a situation like Cyberpunk where they're not gonna make a version of the game that suits the previous console. They're just gonna put it out there, or you're not gonna get a version that suits your new console. That was my main concern about Xbox supporting Xbox One for 2 years. Games like Cyberpunk where you just can't, your system can't run it.
well, if they knew that the system was going to have a problem running it, you shouldn't have put it out for those consoles. You should have strictly stayed with next gen. So that means you push it back a whole another year to 2021, holiday 2021, and you wouldn't have these problems.
Well, the
Or
thing
they could have
is,
did
the
like
thing is,
GTA, like
what's
how
up, Irby?
GTA did. I said GTA gave you all that free shit online to make up for them messing up. They're like, here's $10 billion. Go have
Oh, that's
fun.
nothing to them. Yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah, but
But
GTA didn't really mess anything up though.
It
Like
was it was something.
there was
It was like the server or something went down or something, or it was
yeah,
something.
they had problems with the servers and stuff like that, but there was like no. And, oh, and you know what? Actually, GTA Online when they first released it 2 weeks after the main game, it was damn near impossible to get onto a server. But the online aspect of GTA wasn't being handled by Rockstar; it was being handled by an outside company.
now, with GTA, I think GTA is a little different, Irby. The only thing they'll know about GTA towards the PS4 going into the PS5 is all these damn people online that won't let you do anything. But with that being said, I didn't play the story to GTA, and I bought the game 3 times. With that being said, you can't release a game for a specific version of a console. If you guys understand what I'm saying, like you can't make a PS4 Pro only game. If it comes out for the Pro, it's coming out for the regular version. Now, what they could have done is put out a disclaimer: Hey, your regular ass PS4, your regular ass Xbox One, probably can't handle this game.
Yeah, but
But
why?
like, if it
Yeah, but
comes out
why?
for the Pro and it comes out for the One X, then it's coming out for the less powerful versions of the systems as well.
Yeah, but why would they tell you that your console's not going to run it? They want your money. If I'm sitting here trying to make hand over fist, I'm not going to tell you that this shit's not going to work with your console. No, I'm still going to put it out. Look though, you could use Batman Arkham Knight. That game did not run on PC whatsoever, to the point where they had to pull the game. They had to pull the game from like Steam or some shit, and it never came back. I don't think they knew that damn game. They knew that game was going to have problems. They knew it, and
But
then they
no,
were and
again,
they just and they still put that shit out.
especially with PC, it's hard to tell because like you're when you're creating something under your most optimal situations. Something that works for you might not work for someone else.
Well then you need to release the specs and say, listen, this is what you're going to need to run this game optimally. That's not that hard to do. But like I said, they're not going to tell you that because they want you to spend the money. They don't give a fuck if that game works for you or not. They just want
Okay,
your
but so
money.
all right, Tone. Let me ask you this. You have your Dodge, right?
Yes.
You are completely used to your Dodge and it's all its specs and everything. Now, if I get in your Dodge, someone who has no experience driving a Dodge, and I have plenty of issues, you won't know what issues I'm having because you are already used to it. You are using that car at its optimal point. These developers probably don't know that these problems exist because they're not playing these games on like a setup an average PC owner would play. You know what I mean? So like like Cyberpunk is really buggy. It's not buggy for them because they probably played it on a PlayStation 5.
No. If they didn't think it was buggy, they wouldn't be putting out patches.
But that no. But that's where the early release comes into play. You release to people early, and then just fix whatever problems they occur, so that when the mass of people who get it day one, there's a patch. Hey, this is something you probably weren't gonna like, but we fixed it. Enjoy the game. Game technology has advanced to such a point. Like I understand, give me what I paid for. But technology has advanced to a point where like I want people to be pushing things to the limits. I want these games to look magnificent. I want the game to be as big as possible, push us to the limits, and they're gonna have bugs. Just fix them. Fix them. I want to enjoy this game at its best. Don't give me something Don't give me something safe. Give me something that's gonna push my future PS5 to use every bit of fucking power that the console came with because hey, that's what it's for. Now, what gamers need to realize is all these developers are gonna have a PlayStation 5 in mind and an Xbox. What the hell's the new Xbox?
Series X.
The Xbox Series X in mind when they're creating these games. There's no way around that. You want to make the best thing possible. You want to use, especially people who love their job, they want to use everything at their disposal to fully run these games and make that budget worth it. Because the price of games is going up, and the price of games going up. You better well be putting out a game that's worth playing for the prices that you're going to be charging. Now, to justify the raise of prices, what do? You up the graphics, you up the resolution, you up the power a game can perform at, and it's just old consoles probably can't do that. And if a game looks really, really, really good, you as someone who's played a game, you gotta ask yourself like, hey, can my console handle this? You know, I've had a PS4 for how many years? For like fucking 8 years. Probably should have got a Pro at some point. You know, you had about 6 years, 6 years to get a Pro that could run this game. And I'm not defending it. They could have put out a disclaimer like, hey, but they might not have tested it out on a PS4 Slim or just a regular PS4. So therefore, they might not have found these problems that people who are playing on these consoles, they're not testing it out on are finding. You know, they were playing it under optimal situations where I'm like, oh, here's this bug, this bug, this bug, this bug. When you're creating something, you're not looking for bugs. You kind of get tunnel vision. You have a vision and you're trying to make that vision come true. Now with the company that you put out, I'm bad at names and don't really care about the companies. More so care about the game. They put out there they knew it was buggy. That's fucked up of them. But like with other companies like the Batman Arkham, they probably had the most optimal situation to run that game and didn't know about any of the freaking unrunnable problems that the game was having.
I'm not giving these fucking companies the benefit of the doubt like that. I'm not doing it. I refuse to do that. Like I said, you have people that test those fucking games all the time. You talking about a company, CD Projekt Red, that have already developed a bunch of games for the PS4 and Xbox One. If you don't know how that shit works, then you shouldn't be making games. Period. No matter what you make on a computer, there's always going to be a bug. Just like in my Dodge, my USB ports sometimes don't work. My Bluetooth sometimes don't work. There's always going to be a bug. There's always going to be a glitch in the system.
There
You should
is.
you should automatically assume that there's going to be a bug and there's going to be a glitch. You should always have game testers on hand testing them fucking games out.
Okay, but
But a
like,
lot of but like someone like 2K, there's no one testing those games. Absolutely no one testing those games.
but
So
like,
like
like you said,
the first couple weeks you get 2K, it's just a hot mess until they finally put out a patch to somewhat fix it. And then the whole year you have you'll have developers that'll keep tinkering with things and tinkering with things and tinkering with things. A lot of times the updates don't make it better. They make it worse because after you fix one bug, a new bug arises.
would you
I,
agree that not everyone gets the same bug? Yes, no, maybe.
There's
depends.
probably
I don't know,
like
like, so like, let's
If
say
you're
a
playing
million
on
people, let's say a million
if you're
people bought a game.
playing if you're playing on PC, because not everyone's going to have the same specs as far as PC. Yeah, you may run into different problems, but on consoles, uh, I don't know. I think on consoles is a little bit more prevalent where a lot of people are going to have the same issues.
Okay, so you are you saying that like out of if a million people bought a game, you think all a million people are gonna encounter the same bug? If like they bought it on a PS4?
Not everybody, but majority of the people might. Like there was a bug for Tomb Raider, the 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 first Tomb Raider reimagining, if you will. There was a game-breaking
Mm-hmm.
bug toward the end of the game where you had to like drop a crate on something to break it open. That didn't happen to me, but it happened to a bunch of other people that bought that game, including Ryan. But who knows? Maybe Ryan did something during that particular part in the game which made it game breaking. Maybe he did it and I didn't do it. That's why it didn't happen to me. Who knows?
So, you know what's hard? You know what's hard when it comes to the statistics of these things for the consumers? The consumer only sees the negatives to a game. Like people aren't posting like, "Oh, I don't have this bug." People are just posting like, "I encountered this bug. I encountered this bug. I encountered this bug." So like, it's very possible that out of the 1 million people who bought a game, 10 million people, I'm 10 million, 10% of those people encountered this bug. So let's assume the number is 10%, just for a little bit, hypothetically speaking. Um, 10% people encountered this bug. 1 million people bought this game. Only 50 people tested this game out. It is 10% of 1 million is what 100,000. It is very possible that all 50 of these testers did not encounter that bug. 100% possible because it's hard, man. You're not making a million copies of a game to test it. You're just not. And then like I'm sure all the test most of the people who get early access to the game are testers, YouTubers who built a reputation with that specific company, and those YouTubers are pretty successful at this point to get a copy of a fucking new release game early. So you gotta assume those YouTubers probably have a pretty optimal, you know, setup to run some games. It's hard to predict things like bugs. Like it's like, for example, your Dodge. You want to put a chip in it to make it faster, give it higher horsepower, right?
Hell no, I don't want to do that.
I'm pretty sure I heard you say that one time, but okay.
I thought about doing it, but that's just expensive as hell. I'm not paying for that
But
shit.
you wanted to do it,
Until I found out what the price was, I'm not doing that.
right?
And plus, in
But
a lot of places that ain't legal.
okay, but hypothetically speaking, if you were to do that, you spent all this money on this chip, this new chip, supposed to push your car to its limits in terms of horsepower, and it broke your car. You'd probably be pissed.
You want to know? Want to know why I would break the car?
Why?
Because you have to put it on a dyno machine and get it calibrated. Any modification you do to a car, as far as with the newer cars, a cold air intake, if you put bring pipes on there or anything like that, or you mod the engine, if you don't put it on a dyno machine and have it recalibrated, your car's going to run lean. You're going to blow the engine.
Okay, but I'm
So
saying like if you did all that and
that's
it still
even
broke your car.
shit, nigga. That's your fault. No one told you to do it.
Well, with that logic, are you saying that it's the consumer's fault for buying the game?
No, because you promised me something. See, whenever you buy something a mod like that for your car, there's always, they'll tell you like, hey, look, if you don't do what you're supposed to be doing, as far as throwing that shit in the dyno machine and keeping up with the upkeep on that shit, you're gonna have issues.
So what?
But you
But
can't
that's common sense to
for
people who know cars, right?
yeah, but you're also comparing apples to oranges.
Okay, no, hold on.
A car is completely different from a video game
Well,
because you
I
can
never understood
upkeep
that. I never understood that saying because a fruit's a fruit. But
because the orange and the apple are not the same fruit.
yeah, but
You
I
can
understand if you
as
told me
if
apple to a zucchini, fruit to vegetable. But
If I buy a car, it's my job to upkeep it. How do you upkeep a video game? I can't. If I take that game and try to update it myself, I'm going to jail because that's illegal. You cannot tamper with that game.
no, no.
It is
Okay,
a
okay.
it
But
is
like, let me finish my point though. With a car, you gotta upkeep it yourself, right? But with a game, as a car owner, you know that. As someone who knows how to work on cars, you know you sound like you know what you have to do to like maintain the car. As game owners, we know that with a lot of games, there's a lot of coding, a lot of numbers, a lot of programming, a lot of different people involved. It goes through a lot of different hands. So like, why isn't it the consumer's fault for not buying a game day one and just waiting to see what's wrong with it?
nigga. That's what I'm saying. Wait,
No,
don't
but
buy it right away. I'm saying to wait. Same thing
we
with
just
a
spent the whole
phone.
morning
Same.
saying it was the developer's fault.
No, I didn't say it's the developer's fault. I said it's the suit's fault because the suits are the one that are making these developers push these games out, knowing that they're broken, knowing that they're not ready. I don't blame developers whatsoever. Because if you talk to a developer and they put out a game, like if you talk to developers of CD Projekt Red, they're pissed. They're absolutely angry because they know that because they know the brunt of the blame is going to fall on them, and that's not fair. Because you talk to any developer, they want to put out the best game possible. If you talk to if like over the years, I've read articles, I've watched YouTube videos where developers of Madden are so angry every fucking year because they're the ones who get the blame for Madden being broken the way it is. And these guys, I mean, they bring in people from the community, from the YouTube community that stream Madden, that make Madden videos, that want to come in and make a difference at EA, but they're not letting these people implement these ideas. That's why, like one of them, I forgot the guy's name, but a dude that was pretty influential in the Madden community quit EA, just quit it because it was like, yo, like they're not listening to us. Like you have a bunch of players consulting on Madden to show you how different schemes work and offensive and defensive schemes work and how D backs and well how a bunch of different positions on the field are supposed to play and react. But if you're not taking that into consideration or letting these developers implement that type of shit in these games, yeah, you're always going to get a broken game. No, I would never blame. I mean, I would never blame a developer. I'm always going to blame the fucking suits because it's always them. And they're the red hat. Sometimes it's not always the suits either. Sometimes it can be the developers. As far as Anthem goes,
Oh, that was
um,
a good game, but they just
bro,
suck.
the
Good idea,
developers for
good
Anthem,
plan, bad execution.
the
Yeah.
developers for Anthem worked on that game for years, but they didn't start doing anything with it until 2 years before the game came out. That falls on the developers because EA gave them all the time and all the resources to sit there and build the game that they wanted to build. They decided to pussyfoot around for what 7 years before they actually started to before they actually went into production. So that falls on BioWare. That I will blame BioWare for that because you got a company sinking all this money into this game and you're not doing anything with it, you're just pussyfooting. Okay, well you know what, the EA already knows this is gonna fall on you, BioWare. Now you gonna put this shit out. You are absolutely gonna put this game out, and you're gonna be the ones to suffer for that, and BioWare absolutely should suffer for that because they took their sweet ass time instead of doing what they were supposed to do to get that goddamn game made. But usually 90 to 85 to 90% of the time, it absolutely is the suit's fault to why these games aren't running the way they're supposed to, aren't successful as the way they should be successful because they're not giving these developers the time to try to find these different bugs, to try to fix these bugs. So when they release the game, it actually works. Now I understand even if they did miss a few bugs here and there. Okay, that's understandable because even the older games from back in the day, they had bugs. You know, sometimes you got to take the good with the bad. But if you're talking about giving me a game that's goddamn bare bones, that's barely playable, and that could potentially brick consoles, because that was a problem too. I believe there was a game that was released on PlayStation 5 that was bricking consoles. I think it was re Spider-Man remastered that was bricking consoles. Yeah, when you run into problems like that, it's like, okay, that's a little ridiculous now. That's when it just gets egregious.
Hmm.
Because at the end of the day, the developers aren't the ones that are backing these projects. It's EA, it's these other gaming companies that are backing these projects, not the actual developers. Companies are giving the developers money, so if you're not giving the developers the proper resources to test these games out and try to fix things that are wrong with the game, then that's not their fault.
Yeah.
All all the suits see is a quick cash grab. That's all they care about. They don't fuck about the consumer. They just want the money. The developers are
Money,
the one
money,
that actually
money.
the developers are the ones that actually care about the consumers. And it sucks that they're the ones to be blamed. They shouldn't be blamed.
Now, when so like I feel like right off the bat I feel like sports games will always be hard to do. You know, sports is just hard in
Yeah,
general because you
that I agree. You're never gonna have a perfect sports games,
yeah
but
no you
also
got way too
I
many people
think,
on the field that you need to animate correctly and it's just
But
not an
Madden
easy
wasn't
thing to do.
always that bad though.
but see, but it shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be hard to to implement a scheme. It shouldn't be hard for when your guy is playing. If a ball, if I'm throwing a ball in Madden and it goes right in front of the linebacker and the linebacker doesn't even react or even jump, that should be easily fixed. That shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah.
I mean, especially because you've been making Madden for how long now? Since the '80s, and you telling me you don't know how to make that work? Where in the
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation 2 era, it worked just fine. You throw that ball anywhere near that linebacker, if he can get to it, he's picking that off. So you telling me you can't get that to work now, but back in the early 2000s it worked? That's a problem. That's a huge problem.
Yeah, I remember Madden used to be fun to play, and then it just ain't it lost its luster back in
Well,
the
if it makes anyone feel bad, I just lost to the Packers.
Mm. I
dark
honestly,
era.
I agree with a bunch of people are saying. As far as sports game, make it a free to play service. Just make it free to play. If you still want to, if you want to charge for VC, okay, that's cool. That's fine. I then I can see, okay, yeah, charge us out the ass for VC if that's what you want to do. If you make it free to play, you can still update. You can still update gameplay mechanics. You can still update newer players coming in, players being retired. But I guarantee you, if you make it a free to play service, or maybe even have a subscription where you pay like $10 a month. You know what I mean? Even if you had something like that, or you pay like $50 a year, or some shit like that, I guarantee you, sports games would be a whole lot better. It absolutely would, because you're trying to implement so many new. You're trying to implement so many new systems within a year. It, of course you're gonna have. Of course it's gonna be a buggy mess. Of course it's not gonna work right away. And then you spend six to 8 months just trying to fix that game in the midst of trying to make another one. I've never understood that. I guarantee you, if you let if they decide not to put out Madden next year and they decide to let it to cook for a couple years, then maybe you might be able to get a cohesive football experience. You
Well, the
might be
problem
able
the
to.
problem with all these sport games developers is they're trying to release a game every year.
Yeah, that's why I say if you make it free to play, you don't have to worry about making a brand new game. You just build off the mechanics that you have set in place. So that way
Like,
so that way you don't have to worry about time crunching and you know what I mean. You got guys that like a couple that even after the game release, motherfuckers still working damn near 80 hours a week. That's a long work week.
man, like,
That's
okay, so for example, EA. We talked about EA and Anthem, how they gave them all the time in the world to make that game something worth playing, right?
hmm
If EA did that for Madden, where they gave them, like, here, forget Madden 22, forget Madden 23. Take your time on the next Madden. What we'll do is we'll take 21 and we'll just update the roster every year. Or every
I
whenever something major happens. We'll just continuously update the roster.
I feel like they do need to just have their well they do this to some degree. They need to have their the template and just like build off it. Like
yeah. That
implement some new stuff, but like they don't they
that,
don't they don't have it like correct yet.
then that's where that free to play model comes into play. You already have that template, so now you can go ahead and you can make your changes, you can make your adjustments. You're only going to make the game better. I mean, I don't play Fortnite, but I assume that Fortnite over the years has gotten 10 times better. I assume Apex Legends has gotten better. I think Warframe came out free to play along with the PlayStation 4. I played it a couple, like
Yes.
once or twice. That game just continues to get better and better and better and better and better. And they're always implementing new shit on these free to play games.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it comes down to greed. Not only can I get you a little, well, now 70, but not only can I now get you a little $70, but on top of that, I can still charge you for Madden coins and all that other shit. Yeah, no, they're never going to give that up.
No, but
Why
like
would they?
games like Apex Legends and Fortnite and maybe not War. I don't know. I don't know too many people play Warframe, but those are the game. Those are what's wrong with this community, with this industry, because you have so many people just willing to play the next trend, and that now they're making a shit ton of money that they don't really need to invest into the game. All they need is all Fortnite needs is different seasons, and people spend money on it like crazy for no reason.
Yeah, but also look what they offer though. Like they offer a ton of shit. Like I have no problem with companies charging people for skins. I have no problem with that. That's perfectly fine. What I have a problem with is if you're charging me for shit that's basically akin to pay to win. That's essentially what Madden Ultimate Team is. That's essentially what my team is in 2K. It's pay to win. Because if you're actually paying the money to buy these packs to get these cars, absolutely you're going to have a better chance of winning. Where as far as someone who may not have the disposable income to just spend on opening all these packs to try to get a card, or someone who just doesn't want to spend their hard-earned money on that shit. You
Yeah.
know, like I'm not gonna lie. Have I bought VC in the past before? Absolutely, I have. And I'm gonna sit here and tell you right now. After I bought the damn VC, I'm like, man, I shouldn't have done that. But then again, I don't. A lot of times, I don't have the time to just sit there and grind. I don't, because the fact, the reality is, I gotta work. I have a kid, and I have other interests that I want that I have. Whether it's going out to play basketball, hanging out with friends, going out with drinking, I got other shit I gotta do, or other shit that I want to do. I don't want to. I'm not. I'm not a YouTuber where making these videos is a full time job. I get paid to sit in front of a goddamn TV for 20 hours a day to play that game. I don't have that time. Nor do I would I ever want that type of time.
Shit. I
Shit.
I
might.
I'll play
I
2K for 20 hours if you pay me.
no,
I'll buy the new one
that's
right now.
torture.
Not 2K,
That's
but
torture.
some type of game.
I'll play
Like
Madden
there
2. I'll play all sports games you want me to play. I don't even like sports games like that. I'll play them all.
there was a guy. Uh, 2K18. His name was G Size. Motherfucker stayed up for 36 straight hours playing 2K.
Nah.
I was like, bro, nah, I'm not even gonna lie. I unsubscribed from his YouTube page. I'm like, y'all niggas doing the most. That's just insane. 36 hours straight, you stayed up playing that game. That is insane. And I used to watch videos for these guys that played the Division 2. These guys almost have like 1,000 hours invested in that game. That game's been out for a little over a year and a half. They have 1,000 hours invested in it. I might have 100, 150 hours, and that's over the span of the year and a half it's been out. Man, look, not for me, bro. Like I said, I gotta work. I got a son that I have to raise and tend to. Uh, I got I got friends I want to go hang out with. I want to go play basketball. I just don't want to be sitting in front of that damn TV screen for 20 hours a day playing a fucking video game. Could I do it? Yeah, I could. I did it when I was out of work for surgery. That first week, oh, I loved it. It was great. That second week, oh, I didn't want to do it anymore. I was like, yo, I got to get out. I got to do something because this is boring. For
Well, the
three
way the
months,
way playing a game for an extended amount of time, you're gonna get tired of it. The way the streamers do it is, you're interacting with people who are interested in what you're playing, and then like towards the end, those you know, we'll call them fans of your stream. They become like almost like friends. They become involved in your personal life and things like that, and towards the end, like I don't even think a lot of
Don't need
people
no
who
more
are playing
friends.
a game, like people who play Mario Maker, non fucking stop. They're at some point they're just they're playing the game and they're just talking about shit that they're doing with their chat. So like I see how it's doable.
yeah, I can see how it's doable, but I ain't gonna lie, like I don't like people enough like that. Like I don't want no I don't want no strangers. But this is just me personally. I don't want no strangers knowing my personal business
Mm.
and shit like that because then once that gets out, then you got trolls that use that shit to fucking get to fuck with you. So yeah, nah, I'm good. That's why personally, me, I stopped posting my son on my social media. I there's I don't yeah nah. If if we're close, you'll see him when you want to see him. I don't have to share my son with the world. That's just me though.
I
I get
hear
that.
that.
Um, that conversation got deeper than I thought it would.
Real deep. So
Yeah.
deep. Put her ass to sleep.
Okay.
This is a song lyric.
I know.
Okay.
Did,
As long as you know.
did, did someone send me an invite or
Yeah.
oh,
Swap
because it
over,
ain't
nigga.
popping up.
Fuck.
I already did pop over. It ain't none of y'all popping up online.
Give us a we in the match. Give me a second. I'll back out.
No, no, go. You can play your game.
Too late. No, but I think there's a lot. I just like where like some developers do piss me off. Like Bungie with Destiny pisses me off all the time because it's like you spend 30, $40 on season passes on DLCs and you get like 3 missions, 4 guns, and then it's just back to the same old fucking grind. And it's just like, but I'm the
But also
dumbass
a
that
lot.
keeps buying it, so.
But also a lot of that is that Bungie doing that, or is it Activision? Is it Activision? Yeah, Activision. Or is that Activision going, nah, uh, don't give them all that. Come on, dude, go somewhere. Just don't give them all that. Just give them this, and that should be suffice. You know what I mean? Because Activision is another company that's crooked as hell. These motherfuckers were talking about, oh, if it was up to us, we charge people $500 to buy the peripherals for Guitar Hero and Rock Band. Like, man, go kill yourself.
Well, I can't really point out who is the main reason. behind the lack of content in this game, but it really is like just I don't know. It's just annoying. I'm just it sucks that you're at the face of the company when it comes to issues and you have um higher ups forcing you to release something or rush something, but if the entire development team, which you can't create a game without a development team, have an issue with what's being forced upon them, then don't put it out. What are they gonna do? Fire the whole development team and hire another one? Well, they
Essentially.
might, but go somewhere else. Go somewhere that appreciates a good development. Like the creator of God of War, he refused to put DLC out. He refused to put out a game that relied on purchasing microtransactions. You know what I mean? It's not like you
But
don't have a
also,
choice.
but also look who the suits are for them. That's Sony.
Yeah, I'm just saying, just change who you're working for if you have a problem with. You know what I mean? You're not happy at your job, work somewhere else.
Mm,
I mean, like,
easier said than done.
but like, no, yeah, it is easier said than done. But what? Are you gonna kill someone because your boss is telling you to, or are you gonna quit?
Yeah, but if they have
Depends on if you're in
contracts,
the
I mean,
scenario
you
or
have
not.
if they have contracts with these companies, then yeah, you absolutely have to abide by that contract. Like if the contract says, oh, you're locked in for like 5 or 6 games, you're basically on stuck. I mean, you can breach the term of those contracts, but you're going to have to kick out some money.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of
Or,
contracts have loopholes though. Like if you get a decent enough lawyer, he'll probably find you a way out.
ain't no way out.
Most well,
Definitely right.
I don't know how I don't know if developers actually have contracts, but I would assume it's somewhat based on like them enjoying what they do. Like if I'm sure there's a technicality that will get them out of it if they were actually
well,
get
nah,
contracts. I'm not sure if developers have
they,
contracts. That's news to
nah,
me.
yeah, they do, they do have contracts because if they didn't, then you wouldn't hear, there wouldn't be any exclusive developers exclusively making games for one single console. If
I
that
think
was the
that's
case,
I
then
think that's like
that
I think that's just like a deal with the console itself. I don't know if the developers themselves have contracts tied to
nah,
their company
tr-
though.
trust me, they got contracts. They're gonna because those companies are gonna want to protect their interests.
All right, big dog, I'm trusting you.
Yeah. Mm, yeah.
It's not like the streets where we just gonna shake hands off the strength because we homeboys. Nah, hell nah. We talking about corporate America. They absolutely have a contract.
Mm.
Hmm.
Contract. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
I mean, I get it though. It's just not everything is ideal.
yeah, some stuff is better left unseen.
All right, Irving, anything you want to talk about, sir? Because you've been awfully quiet.
Oh
He
no,
has been
man,
awfully
y'all got the
quiet.
floor. I just be listening, listen to my kings do some stuff, spit some
Listen,
Sounds
knowledge.
weird
You
when
know
you
what
put
I'm
it like
saying?
that.
Damn, bro. Why does it sound weird?
I don't know. It just sounded weird.
Why?
It just did, dog.
Hmm. Man, don't want me to say nice stuff about it. Yeah, no, I don't really, I could talk about how Sony did me dirty again, but people probably tired about hearing about that.
no, what happened?
He
That's
couldn't
news
get
to
a
me.
console. We couldn't get a console.
Well,
Uh,
basically, I
Yeah.
got into the queue right, and it was like less than like 30 seconds or something, or it was like it started counting down. I had like 15 minutes. Oh, I'm about to get in there. 15 minutes go by, 3 minutes start counting down. I'm in there. I, so I finally get in there, and I get it, and it's like, oh, log in. I log in, and I go back and try to click it, and it says sold out.
Yeah.
Like, damn, I was in there, and then they just did me dirty.
Yeah, it's been rough getting a PS5.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I ain't got really nothing much to talk about, except for this new Call of Duty mode's kind of butt cheeks. Yeah, I don't know what the heck this is. Rebirth. Crazy.
Now, has anyone Well, I guess it's time for song suggestions.
Mm.
Anyone got a
Songs
song?
you got for me? I got one.
Oh yeah, RB, what you got?
Let's see. It's called "Be the One" by Lloyd. It's my jam. I used to listen to that, dance a little bit. Look like my brother. Nah, I mean, Bath
From
Master.
another mother.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kick it.
Facts.
Nah, I mean,
Yep.
shoot.
Tell me what you got.
Uh, Nothing.
Damn.
I gotta think of one real quick.
Mm.
Mm.
Damn. All right, so I'm just gonna go through my likes on Pandora. Um, you know what? Listen to "Tried to Be Nice" by Whit Lowry. Yeah. Yeah.
Ain't no one trying to be nice. I'm Grinch out here. My heart two sizes too small.
Damn.
Shit.
That's small.
That's what I just said.
I didn't know you meant it though.
Yeah. Doctor said he don't even know how my heart still beat.
Damn.
Damn.
Shoot.
That's
Nah, I'm
scary.
kidding. Nah, I'm just kidding rounds.
Well, I'm gonna say he living, but he ain't alive.
Mm-mm. I ain't living at all. I'm just here existing in this plane.
Damn. All right. Well,
Okay,
Tom. Did
I got one. It's called Pete Sig. It's called Pete Sigs by Pete Rock Seal Smooth.
I can't even say I heard of the person.
No, that's before your time, young whippersnapper.
Oh, I feel you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's gonna do it for this episode, guys. Thanks so much. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe. I'm hoping that the quality of the mic on my end is immeasurably better because I do have a new mic, so I'm hoping it does sound good. And we'll catch you guys next week. See ya.
Peace.